Hi, my name's Clive and welcome to Discus Fish at Waratah Lodge.
In this video today I'm going to show you how to make this vacuum cleaner for your tank. I'm going to show you how it works, and all you need is basic materials and very basic tools. Hope you enjoy it. If you watch the bag you can actually see all the debris coming up into it. Okay, before we get started, what I'd like to do is just cover the basic materials that you're going to need. You'll need some cable ties. These are about 3 inch. These other ones that I've got here are probably about 5 inches. You're going to need an elastic band, probably about 1.5 meters of plastic airline pipe, a piece of this white poly pipe. This is ordinary overflow you can get from the hardware store, but I'm sure you've got a bit knocking around or some pipe about the same size. None of this is critical. You can just really make it up as you go along. As long as you've got the basic idea of the thing, you can make the pipe whatever size you like, but this lot happens to fit together. So you need a short offcut of that. You're going to need a straight connector for it, or later on, as I'll show you, you can also use a bent connector. You'll need a roll of duct tape, piece of trunking without the lid. This is just ordinary cable trunking. It's about 12 millimeters by 10 millimeters, but again it's not critical. It's just going to be used more or less as a handle. You'll also need, if you've got a couple of these lying around, they're just, as you can see, I've cut this one off from somewhere. This is just the offcut from the next size that was up, I think when I was doing the fish pond. I had a couple of those lying around, and you'll see what we do with those in a moment. You also need some odd muslin or some fine material. You're going to make a collection bag that you're going to fit on the top of this vacuum, so you can actually easily change it and wash it and clean it. I'm not very good at sewing, as you can see, but I used the wife's sewing machine, had a bit of muslin lying around, and this bag, which seems to be about the right size when you're using it, is 7 inches by about 3.5 inches. So if you can get the wife to make some little muslin bags up like that, very nice. If not, get a pair of the wife's tights, cut them off in about 5-inch lengths, and just tie a knot in there, and later on you'll see that actually forms, or will form, a bag. So there you go. That's all you're going to need. You're going to need some kind of drill, electric drill, hand drill, doesn't matter. You've only got 2 or 3 holes to drill in a bit of plastic. Small junior hacksaw, tape measure if you want to get precise, but a lot of it you can actually almost guess. Pair of scissors, pair of cutters, and the drill. What's important about the size of this drill is that it must be the same size as the ends on an elbow. There you can see, hopefully, if I can get it into the camera, that is the same size, and that is what is important for the size of the drill. Okay, we'll carry on now and show you how to start making it and putting the thing together. I've done this simple drawing for you so you can see how and why it works. On the bottom you can see your sand and gravel with your debris on the top. I've shown the piece of pipe with the bag on the top, and I've also shown the air coming into the bottom. Well, as we'll see later on, it's about 10 or 12 millimeters up. The idea is the air bubbles will naturally come upwards in the pipe, up as far as and into the bag. As the pressure of the bubbles rush up, they draw the debris up with it, and it settles into the bag. Later on, when I show you how to make the bags, I thought I'd mention it now. When you make the bags with the little adapter, I would make about 6 of them. Then when you're using it, it's very, very quick to interchange the bags rather than mess around with elastic bands and bits of cloth. So there's a little tip for you. And what we're going to do now is actually get down to making it. Okay, I just showed you a quick sketch of basically how the things work, and what I'm going to do now is make a mini vacuum cleaner, because it'll just show you the very basic principle of it and how easy it is to make before you start making the big one. The big one, the more jets you put in this, basically as you saw on the original drawing, that simply goes into there like that, and if I can get it into the camera, all that happens is the air is bubbling into here, and when it's in the upright position, the bubbles are drawing everything from here up into the bag. So let's make a very quick one, showing you this here. First of all, put your piece of pipe onto your elbow. Short length of pipe, doesn't really matter. This is about 5 or 6 inches. Make one hole in there, which is about half an inch, or about 12-15 mils from the end, and then put that elbow into the hole like that. Take your cable ties, cable tie that onto there, not too tight so you don't squash the pipe too much. A couple of those just to hold it in place. Snip those off there. That's basically it. Next thing we're going to do is let's put a one-way valve in it. You have to make sure that obviously the valve is the right way round. So put a one-way valve in there like that. Small piece of pipe on the end, and basically that is the piece of pipe that's going to connect to your air pump. Now the secret to these is that the more air you've got, the more of these little jets that you can actually run. If you've got a very small pump, this one here we've just made in a few seconds, will work fine with a small air pump. The one I'm going to show you with 3 jets needs a slightly larger pump. So we've almost done now. All we need to do now is make a little bag up. So there's our straight adapter. Put that over, that muslin over there. Put an elastic band around there. That plugs onto the end of here, and as you can see, you've got a complete vacuum cleaner for your tank. Total cost probably £1, so not worth buying it. That'll actually work fine with a small air pump. Okay, here's the actual vac that you saw working in the video at the very start, and what I'm going to do is to actually take this apart and show you exactly how I've put this one together. As you can see, the one that we made a moment ago is the basic principles the same. The air pump goes here, and the waste is sucked up here by the bubbles moving up, and the principle is the same with this one. With this one you could actually use it by hand in the tank if you want to put your hand in the water, or you could actually put one of these handles on it using a piece of this ducting, so the groove goes over the pipe, a couple more cable ties, and then you've actually got it to use deeper in the tank without getting your hand in the tank if you don't want to. Okay, so I'm going to dissect this one that you actually saw earlier, so you can see actually how I've made it together. So in the end, if you can actually see, I don't know whether you can from the camera, you can see the 3 elbows having drilled in here, equally spaced, about 10 or 12 millimeters in, and each one of these simply goes up to a T-piece. Join the 2 together, put that T-piece into that T-piece, that makes your last one round here, that's the last one there, and then obviously off the last T-piece you take your piece of pipe up here and that goes off to your pump via your one-way valve. In the end is the bag. The nice thing about this ducting is that you can actually run your pipe through the inside, put some small cable ties round, so when you're using the thing it's not sort of falling apart. Now the only difference between this larger one and the smaller one is the black reducers on the end. I suppose I could call it my turbo head. If you wanted to, you could actually drill 3 holes in this small piece of pipe if you haven't got these, but what I found is these do actually increase the flow quite considerably. But this would work with 1 jet, 2 jets or 3 jets. It's entirely up to you, and it would do exactly the same job. So I've taken one of these, drilled 3 equally spaced holes, put my tubing on there with my elbows, push those into the holes so they're a nice snug fit, and then all you do is put one of those back to front. Now to hold that on, I just use a piece of duct tape. This has been in and out the water loads of times, and it never seems to fall off. So basically all you do is put that one back to front onto the other one, and that takes you back to a similar size hole, but it's just this proportion here where it goes from small to large to small, which actually speeds up the water flow. All you need to do then is put a cable tie around there. I'm going to slip this one back on because that's where it came off. And the idea of that cable tie is it stops these jets from falling out. Just basically put an odd cable tie here and there all the way up just to tidy the thing up. And I say it looks quite complicated, but it's very simple, and it does the job. So instead of spending your money down the fish shop, have a look around your bits and pieces, and you can actually probably duplicate this. The handle, I've just put a couple of cable ties on there and didn't do them too tight, and basically what it does, it allows you to make this at different angles. So when you're using it in the tank, when you're actually using this in the tank, you can actually get into corners, and if needs be you can actually hold it underwater anyway and just use it as an ordinary cleaner for odd spaces that you can't get to with the straight handle. So that's basically about it. You put the bag on the top, and that's ready to go. So thank you for watching, and I hope you got enough bits and pieces to make one for yourself. This normally pushes into here. It depends what size one of these you get and what size pipe you use. If you can't find one that pushes into the plastic pipe itself, all you need to do is get a small off cut of plastic pipe and then simply push that and connect that to that with that, and then put that other end onto there. That'll do exactly the same job, and obviously drill your 3 holes around here. So if you can't find one that goes in the pipe, just use a piece of adapter pipe. Bit of common sense really, and that does the job exactly the same.